Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and we have another episode of Let's Watch Season 4 of Formula E. This is race 3 at Marrakesh. This is the first race to take place in 2018, and as we are in Morocco, I'm sure that we will see some action. The Marrakesh E-Prix, from my memory at least, is usually a pretty good one. We have a couple of early season driver changes. Neil Jani is out at Dragon and Jose Maria Lopez is in. And at Andretti, Kamui Kobayashi has done his 2 Formula E races and has been replaced by Tom Blomqvist. So other than that, it's exactly the same grid as we saw in Hong Kong. And obviously there we had brilliant drives from Sam Bird and Felix Rosenqvist to take the win. So with that, let's see what happens in Marrakesh. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and let's get this race started.
Go green in Marrakesh. It's a good start from Rosenqvist. He cuts towards the inside. Good start from Di Grassi as well, as he looks to the outside in his Audi. There's a few lockups here and there. Buemi holds the lead. Bird in second, Rosenqvist third, Lopez still in fourth, fifth for Di Grassi. They're all very well behaved through that first corner. All very, very even starts there, Dario.
Remarkably well behaved. You see Mitch Evans trying to make an overtaking manoeuvre. Felix Rosenqvist in third as a gap already opened up to Lopez and the Dragon. Tyres smoking that's just brake lockups with cold brake temperatures. You're going to see more of that into turn 7 here. And we're 4 wide into turn 4.
How's that going to work out? Daniel Abt and Nelson Piquet going side by side, and just about they all survive. Eduardo Mortara running off, and this is where they leave the permanent circuit and join actual Marrakesh streets as they head down towards the Medina, then turn hard left at corner 7. Lock up from Jean-Eric Verne. He goes around the outside of Antonio Felix da Costa. That's a masterful move from the Parisian, and that moves him up into 10th position, I think. But it's Buemi who's leading. He's not getting away.
No, and someone's lost a wheel guard. At turn 4, there was a rear wheel guard lying on the road, so expect there to be a debris flag next time we approach turn 4. And Sam Bird is really harrying absolutely on the gearbox of Sebastian Buemi.
At the halfway point in this race, or around the halfway point, they'll come into the pits and change over into their second cars. But at the end of lap 1, it's Buemi leading, Bird in second, third Rosenqvist, fourth Lopez, fifth Di Grassi.
Well, a very well-behaved first lap. No crashes at the first corner, despite the fact that it is a very tight one. We did see a lot of lockups, and a few cars did jump the chicane, but nothing serious. And we have Sebastian Buemi leading the race from Sam Bird and Felix Rosenqvist, but even Di Grassi is in the top 5, and we have plenty of time for this one to get a bit spicy.
But Bird is looking super, super racy up at the front. He is the championship leader. Remember, and off goes Alex Lynn. He's been hit. Daniel Abt, I think it was, who was trying to climb up the order, and Lynn has been sent spinning from 6th place.
And just as I say, they have been very well behaved. Alex Lynn gets turned around by Daniel Abt, and so we have our first incident of the race.
You could see it doesn't look like he was pushing that hard, but then you see him miss the apex, which shows how hard he is actually pushing through the middle of the corner.
Onto the brakes then comes Sebastian Buemi as he comes out of the final corner now, continuing to lead the way.
Coming around to complete lap 4. Sebastian Buemi leads from pole. The top 5 in grid order. Top 4, that is. Nelson Piquet has moved up. Daniel Abt, who had that early confrontation with Alex Lynn, runs 6th.
The race has so far gone very smoothly. We still have Buemi leading from Bird. Bird looked like he was really challenging early on, but he has dropped back slightly. Di Grassi has moved up to 4th, but at the expense of Lopez, who has dropped right down to 8th. We've not seen too much overtaking. I don't know if there's something wrong with D'Ambrosio and Prost's cars, but they are right down the back, even behind Alex Lynn, who spun. So it's a long race from here, and we'll have to see what happens.
It's flying. Here comes Nelson Piquet trying to get past Di Grassi. These 2 Brazilian rivals have got an awful lot of water under the bridge, and Di Grassi is just holding on at the moment. These Nelson 2 are not chums, and here comes... Oh, Di Grassi's got a problem! Lucas Di Grassi is slowing. He loses out to Piquet. He loses out to Daniel Abt, his teammate, and has Di Grassi's problem, which the Audi team thought they'd fixed, reared its head again.
But he had this problem in Hong Kong. He had a mechanical issue in Hong Kong, reliability issue. He's not very happy.
Reset. P1, P2, P1, P2, P1, P2.
That's Franco, Luca Di Grassi's race engineer, telling him to to reset it. Didn't quite make out what Degrassi said there. I think he might have said BMS error,
I think he did.
which is a battery management system error, but he is crawling to a stop. And actually,
Okay, if you can get to the box, otherwise park in a safe place.
it looks like it's race over again for Degrassi. And
You need to stop completely.
Drama for the reigning champion, Lucas Degrassi, who was battling hard with Nelson Piquet. It didn't look like there was any contact between them, but Lucas Degrassi just suddenly stopped. And it looks like he's out of the race again. This has not been a good title defence so far in this 4th season of Formula E for him. And it's funny that Nelson Piquet is the one who was behind him, because if you remember, his title defence was absolutely atrocious. And it looks like that's just a thing the Brazilians have to deal with. But it'll be interesting to see if we get a safety car for this, because Degrassi has stopped out on track. The field wasn't actually that gapped anyway, they were still quite close together. But we'll see what effect this has on the race, because obviously if they can save some energy, means the pit stops might be delayed a little bit. It's going to make things very interesting.
Well, I'd have to have another look. I would be looking at replay after replay to make sure from all different angles to see the rate of closure. I mean, I think Daniel had some room on the left, but also did Alex come across the road a little bit as he started turning? It's a tough one.
Presumably it's a tricky corner to judge as well, because it's not just a hairpin where you turn straight left.
And you also turn in very, very early. It's such a gradual turn, and it happens very early in the braking zone. And so, again, I haven't seen enough for a long enough shot of the position of the cars and everything to really make a judgment on it.
So
I'd love to hear Daniel App's radio right now.
Yeah, indeed. So Buemi leading, Bird in second, Bird with fractionally more usable energy than his rival. Then we've got Blomqvist heading that particular run. Daniel App's in 4th, but he's soon going to be dropping out of that position. Mitch Evans really in 6th place.
A third of the way through the race, and we still have a good battle up front with Buemi and Bird very close together. Rosenqvist just waiting behind for something to happen. Audi's day is going from bad to worse. Degrassi did make it back to the pit, so no safety car, but Daniel Abt now has a drive-through penalty for that first lap collision with Alex Lynn. A little bit unfair, I think. It's a very, very big penalty for what was almost a fair overtake attempt. But rules are rules, and he is going to drop back as well. We shouldn't be too far off the pit stops, and we're going to see how that is going to mix things up.
A little bit. What's happened here to Eduardo Mortara? Little dummy to the inside. Oh, that's a tight one with Luca Filippi. They have a bit of a rub, quite a lot of a rub.
I have to say,
and through goes Alex Lynn. That's, yeah.
It's a lovely manoeuvre, a lovely idea from Mortara, but he just, I have to say that Filippi just didn't have time to react to the fact that car was there.
Should Mortara get a penalty for that one, considering the Daniel Apt's move early in the race? Daniel Abt has come out ahead of Alex Lynn, so it wasn't exactly a fair penalty. Lynn was ahead when he got turned around. Mortara's just barged past Filippi, so they've both lost out, and it's not the same as the Abt incident, but it was still a bit of a dodgy move, and I think Mortara's very lucky he didn't damage his car doing that. We'll have to see how that one plays out now.
Here's a look at what he did. This is coming down to turn 1. He's quite a way back, old Felix. Moves out.
No problem for Sam Bird.
Yeah. Must have been a, yeah. Bird suddenly slowed.
Yeah.
So it really was out of nowhere. So they're all going to be coming in on this lap. There's no doubt about that. Everybody who's... Evans did come in, so did Antonio Felix da Costa, so did Daniel Abt. There's Rosenqvist, you know.
Attention all teams, this is race control. We're going to have a full course yellow in 5,
full course yellow.
4,
full course
3,
yellow.
2, 1. Full course yellow,
now,
full course
interesting.
yellow. This is to retrieve the 18 car in turn 10.
And that's retrieving. Now, how is this going to play out for da Costa, Evans, and Abt? Let me work this out.
Not
it's
good.
going to be bad for them.
Yeah, not good for those guys.
Because everyone else...
Right before the pit stops, and a lot has happened in the last couple of laps, Andre Lotterer has stopped out on track. Not sure what his issues were, but he wasn't really doing much in the race anyway. We have Sam Bird, looks like he's got some kind of issue, and he's dropped behind Felix Rosenqvist, who is already catching Sebastian Buemi. We've now got a full course yellow, so the people who already pitted are going to lose out because everyone else is going to make a pit stop whilst they're going around the track slowly. It's going to mix things up quite a lot, especially in the second half of the top 10. Some guys who are looking like they were going for points might drop out of those positions, and it might mean an opportunity for points for someone else. So it's going to be interesting to see how these pit stops play out now. We are more than halfway through the race. It's gone pretty quick, and plenty has happened so far.
For the Tachita team, 6th is Lopez.
This is locking up, yeah. Now, you would think, okay, there's not that big a deal losing those 2 seconds, but it is, because it's going to cost him so much energy to close that gap back up for Felix Rosenqvist to close the gap up to Sebastian Buemi. That's really put a big problem in his race strategy.
Yeah, Buemi's lead now 1.6 seconds with 15 laps to go. There you can see Buemi with the advantage. Then it's Rosenqvist and Bird together. Then it's Piquet and Verne together. Here they come. Verne's on a tremendous run.
Jeff has done a fantastic job, hasn't he? Really tough qualifying for him, very tough. And yeah, he's marching through the field, P5 as we speak.
Yeah, so he's got past Lopez as well. What's Lopez's pit stop time? 48. So he was 3 seconds slower than he needed to be, Jose Maria Lopez. Look at Evans, Da Costa. Evans down in 13th position, 15 seconds off the rest of the pack because of that full course yellow.
Between the pit stops and the full course yellow, it has completely ruined this race. Buemi did a much better job in his pit stop than Rosenqvist, so he's got a couple of seconds over the Swede now. But it's actually back in the field with the likes of Evans and Abt and D'Ambrosio, who pitted a lap early. They've fallen 15 seconds away from the main pack, but there's big gaps throughout the field. It is a complete mess. They probably should have called a safety car just to even it all up a bit, but they haven't done that, and now it's honestly, there's so many gaps between cars. The rest of this race feels like it's going to be people trying to close those gaps and then having to conserve energy. So it's put a real dent in any chances of some real action on track, unless something else happens. Maybe we'll get a safety car, or maybe just some cars will be slower than others and we get them to group back up again. Well, we'll have to see, but I'm a little bit disappointed about how this has played out so far.
Sebastian Buemi, the Swiss racer who competed in a lot of Grand Prix for the Toro Rosso team in Formula 1. Rosenqvist never made it to Formula 1, but he's certainly made it to Formula E.
And then some. I think this was the race last year. He really sort of stamped his card and said, you know, I'm here for that pole position lap. Just absolutely showed everybody what he was capable of, and has continued to do it.
11 laps to go. 22 down. The gap down to 0.7 of a second. It's a tenth of a second a lap, isn't it?
Is he going to close that gap all in one maneuver? He has to catch Buemi by surprise, I would say, because at this point Buemi knows if Rosenqvist gets ahead, it's going to be tough. So he's got to, I'd say Rosenqvist has got to catch him by surprise at some point. As soon as he gets to him, try and do a dummy somewhere, try and get past him. Use that bit of extra energy when Buemi is lifting and coasting, maybe saving a bit of energy.
Half a second now. Well, this is a reversal of last year. Rosenqvist was leading the way. Sebastian Buemi came up behind him, overtook him, and took the victory.
10 laps left, and we have a real fight on for the lead. Rosenqvist is closing down Buemi like it's the easiest thing in the world. If he hadn't screwed up his pit stop, I'm sure he'd already be past Buemi. And it's really fantastic to see Rosenqvist on top form, because you forget how good he is. He never made it to Formula 1, but here he is in 2018 doing well in Formula E. In 2024, he's doing a pretty good job in IndyCar. It's a shame he's not really had more success, but I think this is a good reminder that Felix Rosenqvist is a damn good driver.
But until then, Engel just has to concentrate. That's the message. Here we go.
Engineers would tell you stuff.
So look, Rosenqvist has 2% more usable energy than Buemi.
It's a bit tasty, isn't it?
Rosenqvist is looking very good in this battle. Meanwhile, Heidfeld has 2% more than Engel. So Heidfeld should, well, he's got the tools to try and make the pass, but that is fascinating for Felix Rosenqvist up at the front. Both of the Mahindras are running strong.
Yeah, they've obviously found something over the winter for energy saving, and it's very efficient. So I'm sure the Heidfeld's engineers just told him, get after it.
This is how Nico Prost got past Alex Lynn. Oh, into 3. Good stuff from Nico.
Go on.
Lovely.
little defensive by Alex, but Nico Prost having none of it. I'd love to see that fight. That's what we want.
Not only do we have Rosenqvist chasing down Buemi, there are battles throughout the field as well. Heidfeld in particular is stuck between both Venturis, with Engel in front of him, Mortara behind. That looks like it could be a battle to the end. And we have Nico Prost sneaking into the top 10 after what has been a quiet race for him, really. We've not seen that much of him, and he was down the back of the field at some point in this race. So interesting things are going on, and we only have, I think, 7 laps left.
I think Daniel Abt used his fan boost to either defend or attack.
Here's Rosenqvist.
From Mitch Evans. We're on board with the second place man, Felix Rosenqvist. Very close to the back of Buemi. Looks to the inside line, and Rosenqvist leads. What a great move from the Mahindra driver. The team are ecstatic. Dilbag Gill punches the air, and the Swede leads in Marrakesh. And Buemi isn't going to hold back now.
Is Buemi going to go straight into turn 10, turn 11? Is he going to have the move, trying to make that overtaking maneuver?
Buemi has fan boost.
Remember, Buemi has fan boost, but using the fan boost comes out of your existing energy allowance. So yes, you can boost, but that will cost you energy at the same time. So it is a sort of double-edged sword, the fan boost. We'll see what the pace of Rosenqvist can be, though.
Look at him gapping Buemi already. I mean, it's subtle, but he's gapped him 3 or 4 car lengths.
And Rosenqvist has slightly more usable energy than Sebastian Buemi as well.
This replay.
I was never quite sure if he was going for it.
Just textbook overtaking maneuver. I mean, there's nothing else to say.
Do you think Buemi could have covered the inside a little? The gap, he left the gap there. If he stays there, Rosenqvist doesn't go past, correct?
But then if he doesn't come back over and he's really he loses momentum going through this whole section of corners, I'm surprised he didn't defend him. Really am. And yeah, happy Dilbag Gill. Look, there's the passion of racing right there.
He's not one to hold back.
And he is starting to pull away now, Felix Rosenqvist. So, and almost a repeat of a year ago.
There we go, not long left, and Rosenqvist has made an absolute dive bomb for the lead on Sebastian Buemi. Taking it, Buemi didn't really defend. Maybe he was being sensible and thinking of the championship even at this early stage. But it was a great move from Rosenqvist, and he now leads the Marrakesh E-Prix.
Teammate Mortara, there's a bit of damage, and I wonder if that's from Heidfeld. Oh, yes. And Mortara's got damage. There's been some kerfuffle somewhere. No doubt about that. Mortara's car is handling like a, I don't even know.
The right rear suspension is broken.
Oh, and look, no front wing for Heidfeld.
This could be interesting. I want to see a replay of this one.
Please. Yeah, I'm trying to.
Wow.
They've had a right old rumble. Here we go then. So, here's Heidfeld. Here comes, oh no! Mortara into Engel, into Heidfeld.
So it looks like Engel tried to make a move on Heidfeld, and then...
Well, I think Mortara tried to make a move on Engel. Didn't he?
It looks like he was almost collateral damage. Let's see that one again. That was, pretty wide.
And there is Mortara. He has parked it, and that is the race over. Again, another good run for Venturi, though. They've got some pace in that car.
The golden rule, don't hit your teammate.
2 laps to go.
So clear.
Well, I said there were other battles on track, and that Engel, Mortara, Heidfeld battle did look very interesting. It was, well, let's be honest, it was a complete mess. Heidfeld had obviously gotten past Engel. Engel looked like he was going to return with a favour and have a go on Heidfeld, and Mortara somehow tried to overtake them both. 3 wide on a street circuit is never a good idea. Mortara lost control, hit his teammate who's hit Heidfeld. The 3 of them have all got tangled up, and Mortara's the one who's come out worse because he's out of the race. He's got suspension damage. That, I imagine, brings Blomqvist pretty close up to Heidfeld and Engel. Heidfeld might have some damage as well, so I'll be interested to see if he finishes the race. But definitely egg on the face of Mortara. That was entirely his fault. And a very messy way to end the race. Rosenqvist still leads from Buemi.
55 degrees.
And the final lap. You're going to tell him it's the final lap? Apparently not. So Rosenqvist on his final tour in Marrakesh.
He's just driven away.
Yeah.
But look at how much Piquet has closed up. He's only 1.6 seconds behind Sam Bird now. They were 9 seconds nearly at one point of the race.
Fastest lap of the race set by Nelson Piquet, a 1:22.832.
Fabulous job by him and the Jaguar crew today.
1.03.
He's giving them energy readings now, Felix Rosenqvist, all the way around the lap. He wants to make sure he is going to win for the third time. He won the last race.
Eventually
in Hong Kong.
Waved yellow flag in turn 10.
And this is going to put Felix Rosenqvist to the top of the championship.
A mighty performance.
Yeah. Buemi's with him, but he's not going to be close enough now. Rosenqvist, the Swedish driver, started third on the grid, almost crashed it in qualifying, kept it together, took the lead, and now takes the lead of the championship with victory in Marrakesh.
Fuck yeah, well done guys. Mega job.
Apologies for the language there from Felix Rosenqvist.
Brilliant, mate, brilliant. The word is brilliant, brilliant race, mate. Very, very good job. Both of you all here, both of you. Well done. Now work a little bit on the pressures, okay? Watch out the dash to be safe.
So Rosenqvist wins, Buemi in second. Finally some points for him. Sam Bird in third, so he should be second in the championship. Piquet fourth, Byrne fifth, Lopez sixth. The battered Heidfeld finishes in 8th place in the other Mahindra. 9th for Blomqvist and 10th for Nico.
Fantastic win for Felix Rosenqvist, his second in a row. Absolutely brilliant drive, a brilliant move to end the race as well. Buemi, I don't think will be disappointed with second. It's a pretty good result, but he did control the majority of that race. I don't know what happened to Sam Bird's early pace. He was challenging Buemi fiercely at the start of the race, but he dropped back by quite a distance by the end of the race. Good race for Nelson Piquet Jr. to finish fourth. Jean-Eric Vergne, quiet race, didn't really see much of him in fifth. Lopez, brilliant drive on his return for Dragon in sixth. Heidfeld did manage to bring it home in 7th with Blomqvist and Alex Lynn behind. And Daniel Abt rounding out the points even after his drive-through. As for Mara Engel, I don't know if he got a penalty or something. I think he got a 20-second penalty for causing the collision. I do think it's Mortara's fault, but clearly the stewards thought otherwise, and so Engel did drop out the points, unfortunately. That means no points for Venturi. This was a decent enough race. I would recommend watching it. And with all the racing done, let's check out the drivers' standings after the third round of Season 4 of Formula E. We start with the team standings, and Mahindra are still on top, ahead of Virgin and Techeetah, with Jaguar 4th and Venturi 5th. No sign of Edams or Audi on this list just yet. In the driver standings, Felix Rosenqvist leads the championship after taking 2 wins in a row, ahead of Sam Bird, Jean-Eric Vergne, Nelson Piquet Jr. and Eduardo Mortara. So that was round 3 of Season 4 of Formula E, the 2018 Marrakesh E-Prix. Brilliant race, some very, very interesting goings on. I do think the full course yellow around the time of the pit stops did ruin the race, but we did still get some action towards the end. Next up is Santiago in Chile. I'll be covering that in a few days. We also have Formula E in 2024 taking place this weekend in Portland, America, and I'll be talking about that at some point. We have Formula 1 as well. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more motorsport incoming. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the race in the comments below. And most importantly of all, have a good one.